What up, fam? Mr. Country CEO, man. Look, I just wanted to come on here on this Sunday night, share a little bit of the word with you that I brought forth today. You know, if you can't get an encouragement out of the word, what else can you get it out of, right? Especially that kind of encouragement. Man, look, I talked about Elijah after the victory at Mount Carmel, right? If you know the Bible in Kings, Elijah defeated 850 false prophets of Baal and Asherah on Mount Carmel, right? And immediately after that victory, Jezebel, the wife of King Ahab, sends word that, hey, Elijah, you've done that. I'm paraphrasing. By this time tomorrow, you're going to meet the same fate. In other words, Elijah, I'm going to kill you. And Elijah, the Bible says, begins to be afraid and takes off running for his life. That's mind blowing right there, that you can achieve such a great victory on a mountain in the previous chapter. And then you get to the next chapter and you find out the queen has put a hit out on you and you take off running. He allowed depression and discouragement to set in and sink in into his mind. It's so crazy how that happens to even us. You got to make sure that you control your mind. Take care of your mind. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So our minds are important. The Bible says he keeps us in peace whose mind is stayed on him. Elijah's mind got messed up because he got shook by Jezebel's words, takes off running. And if you read that passage in 1 Kings chapter 19, it talks about the fact of him headed over to on this journey rather through Beersheba. He leaves the servant there, gets over into this place up on a broom tree, 200 and some miles. I think about, if you do your research, your cultural background, over 200 miles away. Up on a broom, but before he gets to the broom tree and goes to sleep, he makes statements that he's ready to die, take him out of my misery. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it means, that I'm ready to go on and just die. All because of the words of Jezebel after he saw a great victory of God's power at Mount Carmel. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, don't allow the words of folk to set in so heavy and be so crucial in your life that they cause depression and discouragement in your life. That thing messed Elijah's mind up, what she said, so much so that he then begins to speak out of his mouth, Lord, just go ahead and kill me. I hope y'all get that. You can't allow yourself to go down the path of discouragement and those kinds of things, because it will begin to take over your mind and then take over your mouth. And what comes out of your mouth is important. As a man thinketh, so is he. Your words are powerful. If you say you ain't gonna make it, you ain't gonna make it. If you say you'll never achieve anything, you won't achieve it. You say you can't pass a class, you won't pass a class. You say you'll never start a dump truck business, you never will. Our words are so important. And we know the end of that story, but those are the main points I want to just encourage someone with. Don't let encouragement sink in, right? So we saw the discouragement, but then we saw divine intervention, right? We see the divine intervention was when God sends an angel wakes him up, gives him something to eat, allows him to sleep a little longer, wakes him up again, sleep, gives him something to eat, and then he says, look, get up, it's time for you to move. Whoa. Intervention by the divine wakes him up in the midst of this crazy filled stupor that he finds himself in, all because of somebody's words that messed up his mind, and then he allowed it to get in his mouth. And so we see here then that Elijah then decides to follow the words of the divine. So we see what happened. God refused him by giving him the food, the provision for the food. Then God redirects him. God says, okay, now you tripping, you done went through all this, now get on up and then continue on the journey, right? Because destiny still has to be fulfilled. And so Elijah gets up, gets on the journey, gets back, and where he goes, if you do your cultural background, is over 200 miles from where he had left from. Here's the mind blower. Where he goes is the same place where he left from, Talk, boy. And so this man is allowed discouragement to put him on the run. It gets in his mind. It gets in his mouth. He wants to die, goes to sleep. God refuels him by providing food. God redirects him, say, now go here. He goes back in the same direction that he ran from. Ooh, ain't that what God will do sometimes? The very stuff you running from that allowed you to feeling discouraged, God sends you back to that same place. Here's the nugget, and I'll leave you with this. Because God knows you'll never conquer what you don't confront. Talk, boy! You'll never conquer what you don't confront. That's all I got for y'all. That's what I had today. That's what I talked about. The title of that message today was The Problem When You're Running on Empty. And so we saw the impact of discouragement, but then we saw the intervention by the divine. Thank God for God being God, that he intervenes when we're at our lowest, and know that he can bring us back up to a level that we can carry out what our purpose in life is. Y'all be good. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Share this, man, if you liked this. I'm gone.